I think what I remember most about films is the people that I've worked with rather than the film itself.
Sam Elliott never cared for Hollywood games. To him, acting wasn't about fame, followers, or red carpets. It was a craft, a code of silence, grit, and respect. But after 6 decades in the business, the last real cowboy is done staying quiet. At 81 years old, Sam's pulling no punches. He's naming names, 6 actors, 6 personal betrayals. Not because of petty drama, but because they broke everything he stood for. This isn't a Hollywood scandal. This is Sam Elliott's final reckoning. And when you hear who's on his blacklist, you'll understand why the legend chose silence all these years. 1. Kevin Costner, the cowboy Sam couldn't stand. To most people, Kevin Costner is Hollywood's ultimate cowboy, the face of Dances with Wolves, Wyatt Earp, and of course, the wildly successful Yellowstone. But to Sam Elliott, Costner was nothing more than a city boy playing dress-up. Sam wasn't just acting in westerns, he was the western. Raised on ranches, soaked in dust and discipline, every line he delivered felt like it came from a lifetime of real experience. That's why watching Costner's glossy, polished version of the cowboy infuriated him. In Sam's words, it wasn't the West, it was a movie set. Insiders say the resentment started when Costner starred in Wyatt Earp, but it exploded when Yellowstone came along. Fans saw the drama, the cinematography, the so-called grit. Sam saw a postcard, a fantasy, a soap opera in cowboy hats. When he was offered a cameo on Yellowstone, Sam didn't just say no, he used it as a statement. He wasn't going to endorse what he saw as Hollywood's plastic version of a life he respected. Behind closed doors, Sam reportedly told friends that Costner plays a cowboy like it's a Halloween costume. Every time fans praised Costner's deep voice or stoic expressions, Sam rolled his eyes. He believed Costner brought gloss, not grit. And when they found themselves in the same room, one producer said the silence between them could freeze a desert. To Sam Elliott, Kevin Costner wasn't honoring the West, he was selling it. And Sam, he wasn't buying. 2. Benedict Cumberbatch, too British for the West. In 2021, Sam Elliott did something fans never expected. He broke his silence and fired a shot. His target? Benedict Cumberbatch. It wasn't just a casual critique. Sam's words hit like a bullet, sharp and unapologetic. In a podcast interview, he called out the power of the dog and its British star with open disdain. To Sam, Cumberbatch wasn't just miscast as a rancher. He was an insult to the entire genre. What the hell does this Brit know about the American West? Sam scoffed, and that wasn't the end of it. He mocked Benedict's posture, his accent, even his delicate handling of the role. To Sam, it wasn't acting. It was cosplay in a cowboy costume. The backlash was immediate. Fans of Cumberbatch accused Sam of being a relic, stuck in the past, unable to accept modern interpretations of masculinity. Social media exploded. Critics labeled him a gatekeeper, clinging to outdated views. But Sam didn't blink. He didn't apologize. He didn't explain. He stood firm. Because to Sam, The Power of the Dog wasn't just a film he disliked. It was a betrayal of a genre he spent his life defending. He believed the film romanticized weakness, misunderstood the silence and strength that defined real cowboys, and replaced authenticity with psychology. Cumberbatch never responded publicly, but insiders said he took the insult personally. Studio execs even discussed issuing a public response. But in the end, Benedict chose silence. Sam didn't need a response. In his mind, he'd said the truth, and like a real gunslinger, once the shot was fired, he simply walked away. 3. Ashton Kutcher, the actor Sam couldn't respect. When Sam Elliott first shared the screen with Ashton Kutcher on Netflix's The Ranch, fans assumed they'd bonded off-camera. After all, Sam played Kutcher's father figure in the series. But behind those scenes, there was no bond, only quiet disappointment. Sam Elliott saw acting as sacred, a craft built on discipline, patience, and authenticity. Kutcher, in Sam's eyes, embodied everything wrong with modern Hollywood. A sitcom star turned social media mogul, more famous for tech investments and tabloid headlines than any meaningful performance. To Sam, Kutcher wasn't an actor. He was a product. Crew members on the ranch remember the tension. Not explosive arguments, but something worse. Sam's silence. He showed up, he hit his marks, but when the cameras stopped rolling, Sam kept his distance. In private moments, Sam wasn't cruel, just honest. He's a decent guy, but no real actor, he was overheard saying. It wasn't personal, it was professional. Sam felt Kutcher represented a new Hollywood, where follower counts replaced resumes, where charisma beat out craft, where quick fame mattered more than timeless storytelling. While Kutcher praised Sam as a mentor during interviews, Sam wasn't fooled by the flattery. In hushed conversations, he summed up his frustration with brutal simplicity. He's acting like a guy who learned acting on YouTube. To Sam Elliott, Ashton Kutcher wasn't the future of Hollywood. He was the evidence it had already lost its way. 4. Nicolas Cage, the chaos Sam couldn't stand. To fans, Nicolas Cage is a Hollywood wildcard. To Sam Elliott, he's a walking disaster. Where Sam built his career on subtlety, letting silence and stillness carry a scene, Cage did the opposite. Wild outbursts, flailing limbs, manic energy. To Sam, Cage wasn't acting. He was performing a meltdown. Their clash wasn't just theoretical. When they worked together on Ghost Rider, Sam kept it professional but distant. Cage's chaotic style grated on him. Every scene felt hijacked. Cage turned simple dialogue into loud monologues, every moment into a spectacle. Sam never directly named Cage in interviews, but his pointed words didn't need translation. He spoke about actors who hijacked scenes with ego and called certain performances Big Bang, no heat. Friends knew exactly who he meant. To Sam, Nicolas Cage represented a shift in acting that he despised. Louder, flashier, emptier. While critics sometimes praised Cage as brilliantly unhinged, Sam wasn't buying it. He believed true acting was about pulling the audience in, not overwhelming them. And Cage? Sam saw him as a firework, bright, noisy, and gone in seconds. In Sam Elliott's world, a raised eyebrow said more than a scream. And in that world, Nicolas Cage simply didn't belong. 5. Jeff Bridges, the friendship that broke. This one wasn't about bad acting, it was personal. For years, Sam Elliott and Jeff Bridges were seen as Hollywood brothers, stoic, grounded, two actors who didn't need flashy monologues or viral moments to own a scene. In The Big Lebowski, they shared the screen like old friends, and off-camera, that friendship seemed real. But somewhere along the way, it fractured. It wasn't a public fallout, no headlines, no feuds, just silence. Insiders say it started after Bridges won his Oscar for Crazy Heart. Slowly, Jeff changed. He started appearing in luxury magazines, wearing designer suits, attending political events, embracing Hollywood polish. To Sam, that wasn't the Jeff he once knew. Sam valued simplicity, humility, letting the work speak. Watching Bridges lean into fame felt like betrayal, not out of jealousy, but out of sadness. As Sam once said in a rare, cryptic interview, "Some folks change, others just show who they always were." Jeff never responded. He didn't need to. The silence said everything. They stopped attending the same festivals, stopped supporting each other's projects. The friendship faded, not from anger, but from disappointment. For Sam, losing Jeff wasn't about career paths or awards. It was about losing a brother he thought would always ride beside him. 6. Jared Leto, the method actor Sam walked away from. If there's one thing Sam Elliott can't stand, it's pretension. And to him, Jared Leto embodied it. While Hollywood praised Leto's extreme method acting, sending rats to co-stars, staying in character for months, Sam saw something very different, a gimmick. He didn't see dedication. He saw desperation for headlines, and he wasn't impressed. Sam once called it theatrics masquerading as talent. But behind closed doors, he was even harsher. To friends, he said, "If you need that much effort to act, maybe you're in the wrong profession." For Sam, great acting didn't need attention-grabbing stunts. It needed stillness, honesty, disappearing into a role without turning the process into a circus. His feelings ran so deep that when he was once attached to a film in early development and heard Jared Leto had been cast, he simply walked away. No statement, no phone call, just a quiet, firm exit. To Sam Elliott, acting was a craft, not a sideshow. And Jared Leto, he wasn't an actor. He was a performance artist with a movie budget. In a town obsessed with fame, followers, and spectacle, Sam Elliott stands alone. At 81 years old, he's not chasing roles. He's not fighting for relevance. He's fighting for something Hollywood forgot: truth. To Sam, acting isn't about noise. It's about presence, discipline, respect for the craft. And if that means calling out fake cowboys, method posers, and lost friends, he'll do it. Because some actors chase awards, but Sam? He's guarding a dying code. So next time you see a cowboy on screen, ask yourself, is he real or just wearing the costume? For Sam Elliott, there's a difference, and in the end, maybe that's why he'll always be the last real cowboy in Hollywood.